A sapphire sea and sky, high-quality air and abundant greenery. These are just a few examples of Hainan's first-rate environment, mostly thanks to which sports tourism is booming all over the island. What uncommon sporting activities have appeared in our show? Let's take a look. Among all the possible things to do here, scuba diving is proving a highly popular choice and has become one of the absolute musts for revelers. The mysterious ocean invites you to dive down and explore its damp depths. If you get a PADI certificate, your wish may come true.
欢迎来参加我们PADI的体验潜水课程。
Focusing on teaching the basic principles of scuba diving, the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, among the most common of which include training towards the Open Water Diving Certificate and the Advanced Open Water Diving Certificate.
开放水域潜水员课程能下到最深的深度18米，进阶开放潜水员课程下到的深度在30米左右。
Beginners can take part in a one-day trial PADI diving course, just enough to learn what diving is all about.
一天的这个体验是有什么要求吗？
比如说，我们一定要身体健康
Before we begin the class, I must fill out a form indicating any health issues so that my instructor may assess my physical fitness.
水面是有压力的，每下10米会增加一个大气压。
The first technique to learn is how to release the pressure in my ears.
有2种方法第一种左右活动下巴加咽口水，第二种方法捏鼻子鼓气。 每下半米或者1米的时候，我们就开始平衡一次。平衡耳压是非常重要的无法平衡的话我们就要给教练打这个手势，停止下潜，好吧？如果你忘记平衡，我会给你打这个手势。对，捏鼻子鼓气的意思，好吧
Under the water, different hand gestures mean different things.
比如说这个手势是代表方向上升然后不舒服，哪里不舒服我们可以指哪里。如果我们下到海底的话，我会给你打这个手势游动起来然后随时会关注你的在水下的状态会给你打这个手势 ，OK 那你要记得要给我回
还是这个？
对。
Having mastered the underwater hand signals, we turn our attention to the diving mask.
压住袋子，然后放后脑勺这边上面不要压住头发，然后两边不要压住耳朵。
It is possible that water will leak into your face mask while underwater, so learning how to get rid of that water is of paramount importance.
第一时间要先低头看下面，水会停留到鼻槽这边，按住面镜上宽这2个位置，因为在水下气体是从下往上走了。如果你不按紧面镜，气泡的话会从面镜上沿出来。嘴巴深吸口气，然后鼻子持续的呼气。慢慢抬头看上面，做完以后低头下来看一下面镜里面的水排干净没有。
Then, to complete the outfit, the scuba diving equipment itself.
这个是气瓶，里面装的是压缩空气，和我们现在呼吸的空气是一样的。
这个东西在水底下能用多久呢？
会和我们深度有关，你在越深的地方，它耗气就越快。
Among the many gadgets is an air pressure gauge, allowing the user to monitor how much oxygen is left.
看到红色这个区域没有
？50，
就代表我们空气不多了。怎么给教练比手势呢？就是捶胸口，我只剩下50帕气。
A breathing device is a prerequisite when plunging beneath the waves.
牙齿轻轻咬住牙槽两边，带紧它就行了。嘴巴呈 O 型嘴，把它包住。
If water should inadvertently seep into your mouth, there are 2 ways of dealing with this.
一种是猛吹法，往这个咬嘴这边吐，它就会从这边单向排水排出来。那么还有第2种方法，按压法。我们背部有个按钮，按2下，按的时候舌头可以堵住这个，等水排完以后再恢复呼吸就可以了。如果在水下没有气了，打这个手势，给我备用气源。左手边还有一个装置冲排气阀，按这个就充气按钮。
When ascending or descending, you will need to inflate or deflate your life jacket accordingly.
我们要排气下潜，一定要高举它因为水压是从下往上压的，在水面上就排气排气排气。当你头没过水面以后，吐气，人往下走了，我们这个就放下来
After learning the basics in theory, I don the wetsuit and all the kit. Now it's time to put the theory into practice.
can't put this in my fork. So I'm making progress because apparently I've just performed the 2 ways of expelling water when it gets into your mouth. And I passed apparently. So I'm making progress all the time, which is good. The problem is this is too loose and I think I just leaked a bit of water. Oh dear.
After a short break, the practice resumes. Firstly, we deflate ourselves and dive down. We then need to release the pressure in our ears. After having mastered a few techniques, I start to enjoy the impressive views down below, all under the expert guidance of my instructor. Wow! Whoa! What a wonderful sense of freedom swimming around under there. There are lots of things to remember. I had to juggle a few things in my little head. For example, I had to keep reminding myself to breathe through my mouth, which wasn't easy. Difficult, but ultimately very rewarding. Diving allows us to swim freely under the sea and appreciate its underwater beauty. Now though, we are going back up to the surface to catch some waves. Hainan has so many little towns by the sea, and their inhabitants have been masters of the waves for generations. Chen Zhenwen from Sanya's Tianya town is one such individual. Tianya town is situated right on the sea. Every street and alley takes you to the beach. For beginners who have little to no experience with sea sports, paddleboarding is a safe option.
第一个，它要有脚绳，不小心滑落到水里面，你也可以顺着脚绳把板拉回来。第二个，桨板下水呢，必须要穿救生衣。
There are different kinds of paddleboards, but as a beginner, a leisure board is apparently just right for me.
这个是板头对准那个前进的方向，这就是板槽。第一个是当提手的作用，第二个呢，当一个中间平衡线的一个作用。
OK。
这一块是脚垫，就是为了增加摩擦力。这个板的后面这一块很重要，这一块叫尾鳍，主要是用来控制方向和速度的。
The paddleboard is similar in structure to a surfboard, only with the addition of a paddle.
桨的话分为几个部分，第一个是桨柄，第二个呢就是桨杆，第三个是桨面，这个是正面，这个是背面。一手握住桨柄，另一手紧抓桨杆。我们往左边滑，那么板就往右边走。怎么样倒车呢？把桨面转过来。如果我们往右边倒车，那么我们右边往前滑。
The importance of the paddle aside, it is also crucial how and where you stand on the board.
站的位置在板的这个中间，双膝半蹲，这样能够掌控在板上的平衡。这个桨的高度一定要跟你额头平行。
Depending on how the mood takes you, you can kneel, sit, or lie on your board in whatever position you like. After having learned the basics, I am now ready to venture into the water. After getting used to the waves, I challenge myself by trying to stand up and paddle.
哦，刚好我是高手啊，高手啊，高手啊。Having done this before, I thought it would be a little bit easier because obviously on water that's totally calm, it's actually not that hard. But even just the tiniest ripple on the water just sends you flying.
Success comes from perseverance, and I am not about to give up.
Well, it turned out it was fifth time lucky for me. I did manage to stand and I did manage to paddle a short distance before falling into the water. Actually, it was pretty good. It's quite a few meters. For a first timer, I think that's not too bad. But it's surprisingly tiring. Oh, all that paddling and then falling into the water and then crawling back onto your board does take it out of you a bit. So I probably need a rest soon.
Throw caution to the wind when out on the paddleboard as you form an intimate bond with nature.
Hainan's mountains, while not lofty or rugged, are impressive nonetheless for their tropical peculiarities. Via Ferrata rock climbing is one way to get to know Hainan's mountains a little better.
Baishiling Ridge in Qionghai is home to various hills of different proportions. Its perfect geographical conditions boast the most professional via ferrata rock climbing route in all of Hainan. Not to fear, there are professional instructors at hand to keep you safe and sound.
我们两个先体验一下非拉达运动项目。
好的，没问题。A 线全长的话是160米，它的线路在风水宝地的上面。B 线全长是310米，后面有很多的网桥、索桥。A 线的话通常适合一些小朋友 ，B 线就适合一些成年人。
我要走 A 线路。
那我挑战 B 线路吧。
那我现在来帮你们穿装备吧。
好。完蛋，你准备好了吗？
准备好了，
来 PK 开始了。
走。
比赛之前我先有一个装备的培训。这把锁它叫不间断锁，然后从这里绕过来，把它绕过去就可以。
OK。
然后这个是自动锁你要把它扣到这个手攀架上面。你攀爬的时候，用你的手臂带动这个绳索去抓上面脚踏。
After having learnt some rudimentary techniques and how to use the equipment, the game is on.
伊恩，你准备好了吗？我在终点等你。
怎么可能？我绝对跑得比你快。来，我们3、2、1 ，Go！Go！Looking at how high this is, I must be honest, I was a little bit nervous, but having had the safety demo, I'm now convinced that it is as safe as houses. Come on, let's go. What a surprise. Oh, it's a sunny day. Well, I've noticed that the best thing is not to look down. Just keep looking up. Keep looking up, you've got something to aim for. Don't look down. So I'm going to go across this tightrope now. I've got to keep my body sort of leaning forwards to keep my balance. Luckily, they've designed it in that way as well. So, wish me luck. Just don't look down. Okay, oi, 成功啦. Keep going. I'm feeling so free, like a summer breeze. Okay, so apparently this is meant for kids, this course, and this... I don't know many kids who could do this, so I've got to prove myself that I am in fact not a kid, I'm an adult, so up I go. This 风景真不错哈。今天有一点雾哈，这个会比较哎，有低一点，但是还是很美。
我们准备好了吗？就可以出发了。
OK， 我们继续了。Oh yes, here I come, here I come! The conquering hero returns! I'm alive, I'm alive! That was certainly nerve-wracking to say the least. I think I must have aged by about 10 years. You're absolutely petrified that if you lose your footing or your hold, you're going to fall to your imminent death below. But then almost immediately, you remember that of course you won't, because you're held on by this. That just won't happen, it's incredibly safe. But I think that is where the exhilaration lies. It's really, really fun, actually. My route, which was Route A, is the short one. Now, Wang Dan is on Route B. I wonder how she's doing, so I'm going to go and see how far she's got.
好像是到一半了吧，教练？
对的，已经到一半了，加油！
欢迎啊！你们才来了，你知道我等你多久吗？
整个爬下来的话，也不像爬山那么耗费体力，它可能只用了我1/3的体力，我就能完成整一个 B 线的挑战。
对，连我这个老头也可以做得到的。
Rock climbing has become an increasingly popular sport among young people in recent years. Combining exercise, entertainment, and an element of competition, rock climbing can not only cultivate perseverance and determination, it can also improve your physical condition and test you to the limit. Suspended high up on the crag, you fully appreciate the thrill and titillation.
Next up, I'd like to show you all Hainan from a very different angle as we fly up, and away!
Hongjiaoling International Paragliding Site in eastern Hainan's county of Lingshui is one of the few places in China to provide a professional paragliding experience.
哇，前边就是香水湾，
哇，
这就是我们起飞场。
好漂亮啊！
As an emerging fashionable sport in China, people are rushing here to catch their own airwaves. I am now fully geared and ready to take to the skies.
怎么到了这个地步了？我还是有点紧张。I wasn't nervous up until now, and now suddenly, when I got all the kit on, there's no turning back.
好，开头。
The heart's beating. The heart's beating a little bit quickly. Oh dear. Whew. I'm okay. I'm fine.
The instructor will be flying with me, which is a great comfort to me.
1, 2, 3, go！ 对，好停，对，有一股阻力在这里的，这个时候你继续奔跑，当教练叫停的时候你就 stop。
Okay, just stop. Okay. So I'm ready to soar like an eagle. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. As soon as I got into this gear, I just felt my heart beating a bit quicker than usual. But also I'm excited. I've wanted to do this since I first saw people doing it in Switzerland all those years ago, and I never thought that I'd be doing this for the first time here in Hainan.
Having a bird's eye view of Lingshui gives me a completely different and breathtaking perspective. After a pleasant and uneventful voyage, I land safely, bringing my first experience of aerial navigation to a close.
安全落地了，太棒了，可以还是有点好。
Taking flight high above the ground is exhilarating to say the least. My starting point is 360 meters above sea level, and I gaze out upon a 12-kilometer-long coastline. This extreme sport is certainly bringing me some extreme excitement.
You're probably thinking that all of Hainan's sports revolve around the sea or the mountains, but there is plenty to do with your 4 feet firmly on the ground. That's right, horse riding is one such activity.
Hainan Changchi International Horse Club in Wenchang focuses on everything horse-related. Here, you can try your hand at modern equestrian sports.
这边就是我们的头盔，用来保护我们的头部的。那这个是我们的护甲，防止我们在拴马的时候进行一个减震的一个作用。这是我们的护膝，用来保护我们的腿部不会被磨伤的。那还有一个就是我们的马靴。那我们的马靴呢，鞋头是比较尖的，而且这里是有一条根。这个是为了防止我们的马靴呢卡到那个马凳里面，造成对人比较危险的一些动作。
哦，那就是比较稳定。
对，这些比较安全。
After having familiarized myself with the protective gear, it is time for me to begin my lesson.
All that remains is for me to slip into something more comfortable. Do I look like the dashing Don? Equestrian dressage is a sport for real gentlemen, and if I don't quite look the part yet, I certainly shall when I'm out there on horseback. Now let's get the rest of the equipment on. Would you care to ride side saddle with me? Let's go.
Before commencing basic horse training, the instructor selects a suitable horse that matches the rider's height and weight.
那我们先做一个小游戏做一个马上体操。那我们首先把手张开，身摊平，对，然后做一个环卷。
这样子。
因为我们在马上的紧张是腰部形成的那种肌肉紧张，会带动全身。那我们先让身体放松，然后我们身体前倾，对，我们把身体抚摸下来，去摸他的脖子，我们去鼓励他，让自己放松。
对，会让马放松，
马也放松，然后自己的肌肉也会随之放松。
The elementary equestrian training course is specially designed for people who have never ridden a horse. It primarily teaches the methods and concepts of English riding.
我们坐在上面，首先背挺直，对，双手抓着扶手，看前面，目视前方。
那我这样怎么样嘛？我的姿势？
对，姿势非常的漂亮，非常对。1、2、1、2，跟着我的声音，1、2、1、2、1、2。
Man has been riding horses for thousands of years. It is not terribly difficult to tame horses enough for us to ride them or make them work. However, when horse riding became a sport, it was no longer that simple.
对，就这样，就这样，就这样。起坐，起坐，起坐，你不起坐就更晃的。对，就这样，就这样。
Okay, there we go. Good boy, David. Good boy. It's funny how things turn out, isn't it? I've come all the way here to Hainan in China to learn about equestrian dressage, something which I, as a true blue blood, really ought to know about. It's quite difficult up here on horseback, especially if you're not used to it. All the standing and the sitting, the bumps to your bottom, and the worst thing is, I think I'm going to be bow-legged after this experience. Oh, it's tough on the knees.
感受怎么样？
我觉得很难，很难把握这个重心在哪里，这个平衡点很难把握。
对，我们初学者身体不够放松，所以把握不了那个力度。
很难，第一节课真的是，但是非常的过瘾的，我一定要上第二节课了。
非常帅，可以多加努力。
哎呀，谢谢谢谢。
Whether visitor or professional, as long as you dare to try new things, you will surely find a sporting activity right for you.
Well, these have been the extraordinary sports that I've tried here in Hainan. Enjoying sports in lovely surroundings and enjoying the lovely surroundings while indulging in sports complement each other perfectly. I hope to see you here one day, be it on land, on sea, or foam.
这里是海南卫视。